This morning, I woke up to a DM that a new Fire Emblem Warriors Three Houses trailer dropped, and this one answers the question we've all wondered. Who is Purple Guy? But oh my god, we got a lot more than we asked for on this one. Let the analysis begin. The first cutscene starts with Shay. Shez? Shays? I'm going with Shay until otherwise because that is an actual name. Breathing heavily while dueling with Byleth and the following lines cutting in. Before you, the one standing in your way, the most formidable enemy, the Ashen Demon. Afterwards, the perspective of the final scene is from Shay's perspective, about to have Byleth's sword plunged into them, with male Shay saying,
"It's just one merc."
A lot of speculation can be spurred on by this incredible and curious opening scene. Whether or not Byleth is the villainous bad guy is not evident just yet, nor proof that this is a golden route given you still seem to need to pick a side. We don't know what will come of these two just yet, and what Byleth's role will be, or what side they will choose. It seems like Shay may have instigated this duel for some reason we don't know yet. Shay might have been underestimating the Ashen Demon and paid a price. Let's not speculate too far ahead though. The fact is, Shay totally dies here. 31 seconds in. The next scene has Shay waving past the camera, explaining to the listener that he's a mercenary looking to line up his pockets. We see that Shay, like Byleth, can be either male or female. He then says he needs to be stronger to do what he needs to, meaning the dude could have a bigger goal in mind rather than just doing merc work. After his introduction, the caption, "Three diverging path, which one will you choose?" and a more detailed map of Fodlan transitions before panning into Empire territory and showcasing each lord and their respective retainer. This game also seems to ask you to pick a side and fight for one of the three lords, just like in the original game. Edelgard, titled the Scarlet Blaze, is wielding what is her new PRF weapon, Labronda, and combating Kingdom soldiers. We get a closer look at Goth Hubert casting what looks to be a bunch of dark magic spells combined as normal attacks, which is pretty cool to look at. Ferdinand is also in this scene in case you missed that. Dimitri is up next and he's called the Azure Gleam, fighting Empire soldiers. Then we see Dedue. Our first look into Armor Knight Dedue is epic for two reasons. Because his design is unbelievably sick, and two, there is an actual playable heavy armor class in this game, unlike Warriors 1, which will speak to the class and gameplay diversity this game will most certainly have over its predecessor. Claude, the Golden Wildfire, is next up, fighting Empire soldiers as well. Then comes a close-up of Hilda wielding the Faerghast, smashing her foes to pieces, and looking to have attacks similar to Lissa. After the character introductions are finished, the tone of the trailer drastically changes, with a dragon breath beaming through the screen and attacking Alliance soldiers. Kingdom Pegasus Knights are in the air about to throw down their javelins, and Flane is looking up and speaking about the war. There's an interesting scene that seems otherworldly. The ground is blackened with what looks to be Greek symbols. Now I could be wrong because it's kind of happening fast, but these symbols are going from Omega clockwise, Omega, Xi, Chi, Delta, Theta, and Psi. Then there are soldiers looking up in the sky, and perhaps giant black pillars or objects descending and colliding to the ground. Greek symbolism and those who slither in the dark are very closely linked. Not only is black magic characterized by Greek symbols, but each notable slitherer is named after the 7 sages of Greece. Per Wikipedia, it states, "It was the title given by classical Greek tradition to 7 philosophers, statesmen, and lawgivers of the 7th and 6th century BC who were renowned for their wisdom. The members being Talus, Pittacus, Bias, Solon, Cleobulus, Periander, Mycen, or Anacharsis, for the 5th and 6th sage, and the 7th, Kylon. Besides Talus and Solon, the other sages are generics scattered in the late game of Three Houses, with Bias being theorized to be the undisguised Cornelia, given that in the Agartha chapter, she's seen alongside the Titanus. This is the most important naming motif of the Agarthans, and seeing these symbols in the trailer allude to the Slitherers' continued role in the story, and perhaps even more emphasis on them in this game. 1 minute and 32 seconds. The next sequence of footage is more gameplay related. First showcasing the war map, The Blitz of Regan, with Anna the Merchant's map sprite. Then another merchant advertising with wares and an on-map transaction seemingly with him to acquire advanced seals. Last trailer, they showcased the world map and the Battle of Garrick mock chapter about to be selected. Now we see that next part. Under the banner of the Empire, we get a peek at the preparation screen. To the left, there are various symbols. A magnifying glass, maybe for exploring before the chapter begins, a map and checkmark, which is where one can change deployment, unit, and convoy, and the menu where non-controlled ally behavior can be ordered to defend, seize, placed as adjutants, and so on, just like in Warriors 1. And a handful of other symbols I'm sure we will know in more detail in time. Not worth guessing at the moment though. To the right of this map, we see Shay and Edelgard's unit status. Edelgard is a fortress knight. She has Labrada, her sacred weapon, notice the silver weapon icon, and then Shay, the Flugel class, which seems to be mastered in some capacity, equipped with a steel sword. There is a familiar looking talent menu to the right. I'm curious among the movement types, since monster is one of them, what this means. I'm very curious. Is Flame the Tiki of this game, and will we finally see her dragon form? Then we shift to the menu where we can set equipment, abilities, and class changes. Shay is able to equip different arts, and if Wrath Strike and Grounder is anything to go by, they are triggered by button inputs in battle. To the right, these two arts have relative might levels, cooldowns, durability cost, and most interestingly, AoE ranges. Authority stats and battalions make a return here and in familiar form, but it seems the AoE effects were simply given to combat arts, and battalions themselves give passive effects like Weapon Triangle Advantage. Next up at 1 minute and 47 seconds, the in-battle map can be viewed. Warriors 1 players will be familiar with how this works. By selecting a unit, you can issue orders to them if you aren't playing them directly. Here you can move, heal, assign as an adjutant, which seems like this version of Warriors 1's pair up, or order them to use an ability, which is definitely new to this game. At 1 minute and 49 seconds, I lost a bet. Monica is here and is playable. She is a mage and has the Wind Caller's Genesis equipped, a very interestingly named tome that looks to be a sacred weapon as well. The Wind Caller was the title given to Saint Macuel, who by the game's start remained in his dragon form. What is even more interesting is that in Three Houses itself, there was no playable character that had the crest of Macuel, so I guess Monica was supposed to fill that role before she got Kronyet. In this menu as well, Bernadetta is to the south. Shay is then being ordered to rush west to either attack the enemy there or do other actions. Adjutant is then seen in action. Claude is helping Shay take down enemies, defending him, and then pairing up in a partner special. Very similar to Warriors 1, pair-ups functioned like this. 2 minutes. We get confirmation each faction will get their own camps once the mid-time skip arrives. Showing the one from Black Eagles, Shay trains a bit with Edelgard, and that raises their relationship value a bit. At 2 minutes and 7 seconds, Shay is then shown reclassing into Swordmaster, Mage, and Cavalier. This could suggest everyone in the game could reclass into any class they can, just like in Three Houses, but that's still yet to be confirmed. At 2 minutes and 10 seconds, we're briefly shown Lorenz's new mid-time skip look, and whoa, that is some nice hair. The new Avatar and Claude are also there, and judging by the animations and text, it seems the whole thing about Lorenz not wanting to entrust Claude to do work might be a new monastery/encampment activity. It then cuts to the guy eating with Mercedes and Dimitri, similar to the screenshot shown by Amazon quite recently, before showing Shay alone and walking around Black Eagle's camp, low-key confirming the area will be explorable just like Garreg Mach from the original. At 2 minutes and 16 seconds, we get a brief scene where Shay appears to have protected Claude from a sword someone appears to have thrown at him. Claude echoes in the background,
This world cries out for change, while you keep it shackled to the past.
which is honestly surprising to hear from him, as it feels like something Edelgard would say instead. To be fair, Inverted Wind, she and Claude admit at one point that their goals are very similar overall. Oh, and this scene also very closely mirrors the beginning scene of Three Houses, where Byleth protects Edelgard. And while Claude says this, we are then shown a shot with a Claude-looking guy on a wyvern. The dude looks incredibly similar to him, but the hair, attire, and even face are noticeably different. So maybe he's one of Claude's half-brothers from Almyra. Could this mean Almyra will play a more direct role this time around? At 2 minutes and 21 seconds, Dimitri is then casually deflecting some dark magic and then looking at someone's hand in the next scene. And by the glove and color of the sleeve, it fittingly looks to be that of Rodriguez. While this is happening, he's saying,
We can finally avenge all of those who have fallen.
Suggesting he'll be still consumed by revenge at the start just like the original game. But similar to Crimson Flower, his mind will be in a far better place this time around. Dedue then strikes a few Kingdom soldiers, and Shay is seen carrying him later.
Am I gonna be next?
You were the cog that was missing from the turn wheel. The one final push that urged me to act.
Trust me, no regrets here.
I'm the closest ally you have. Remember, We're partners in destiny.
At 2 minutes and 27 seconds, more scenes from the Black Eagles play. Edelgard runs towards battle, and then Shay briefly talks to her. Paying attention, you can see Monica right behind him. At 2 minutes and 32 seconds, more story scenes are shown between the Black Eagles and the Golden Deer in battle, mostly showing what we've already seen. And then we get a glimpse of the Battle of the Century. Holst versus Count Burgles, I think? Looking more closely, the pink-haired guy appears to be a hero, and he's using a sword to fight an old blue-haired dude with gauntlets in the War Master class. Both men share the same hair color as Hilda and Caspar's, and the cape of the pink general has the crest of Goneril engraved on it. There's also the fact that Three Houses teases both of these guys as the ultimate badasses, yet events conspire to ensure neither is ever shown on screen no matter the route, so maybe it is them. At 2 minutes and 35 seconds, someone later in the background says, "I'm the closest ally you have." Not to mention, the trailer has been showing subtitles for a while that refer the new mercenary guy as someone who was meant to fade into the waves of history, which would explain their absence in Three Houses. And Edelgard herself calls them the cog that was missing from the turn wheel, so fate could be a big theme for this game.
Remember, we're partners in destiny.
Official marketing material of the game says Arvel's the name of the white-haired goddess and that she appears in Shay's dreams. So that more or less confirms that Arvel is Sothis' counterpart in this game. Something really cool about Arvel's design is that the triangle effect thingies that is all over her is also similar to Kronya's attire, which would confirm that Arvel is a Garthan and, I guess, a god. And just when you think the trailer's over,
Gonna be one hell of a fight, especially if the Ashen Demon is here. Don't like a smidge of what I've heard about that fella. Or was it a woman?
we are shown that the game lets us choose Byleth's gender, though in the screen proper they're just called the Ashen Demon. Given their hair color, apparently the choice happens very early on, so what is the plot going to be in this game? All in all, I would say this trailer is unbelievably cool. I tweeted it that it was one of the best Fire Emblem trailers ever, and I mean, for me, I have a lot of, like, not to brag, but like I know a lot about Three Houses, and it's just really cool to see all this stuff unfold, and all of the things that we missed are finally gonna at least somewhat be addressed here. I think the silliest thing about this whole trailer is that I do sort of agree that Shay's outfit is kind of ugly and dumb, so that's a thing, I guess. I am very interested to see where they go with Byleth right now, because even in that select screen with Byleth's gender, you couldn't like name them, and they weren't like in quotations, which could mean that you really can't play as them and they're just like your nemesis for the entire game. I don't know. It's something, man. There's a lot going on right now. It's really cool. We have yet to see Rhea or Seteth at all. The other notable Garthans have not been seen yet, but I'm sure they're going to come up. Overall, this trailer honestly gave me some chills. I'm really excited to see what happens next. There was an update for a lot of the merchandise and product information pages and like things like that about the game, so I'm going to cover that in another video coming soon, but I need to get this one out because it's already 5 in the evening my time and my usual upload time is way past due. So with that all being said, I hope you enjoyed this in-depth analysis of this trailer. If you did and you're still watching, my name is Faerghast. I'm a huge Fire Emblem guy. I've been covering every single bit of Three Hopes' content, so if you do want to stay up to date and get a pretty in-depth analysis every time something Three Hopes related comes out, please subscribe. I will always be talking about important and cool Three Hopes information until it comes out. So yeah, if you do like this content and you do like my analysis and you haven't subscribed yet, please do, because there will be more Three Hopes analysis in the future. And with that all being said, thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll see you in the next one. Deuces.
you